Welcome to the third part of our Google Analytics audit. In this video, we're going to create custom dimensions and metrics. So if you look into your Google Analytics account and go into any of the tabs on the left-hand side. So I'm in the acquisition data, source/medium. So Google provides us with a lot of secondary dimensions that we can filter our data by. So for instance, if you're on the source tab, you can say, I want to include medium as well. And then it adds a second dimension to your table. What I often find problematic with Google Analytics is that it only offers two dimensions at the same time. And it has like a preset of dimensions, whereas every company, every business is very unique. So you might want to have additional dimensions to it. So we can actually add those. In this case, I might want to see who were the actual user emails that visited our page via certain sources. So you can see that I visited a particular page on our website via accounts.google. Well, okay, then I might want to extract this and email certain users that visited certain pages. This is just one example, but you might have tons of dimensions that you want to add inside your Google Analytics data. So the way you can do this is in the admin panel, and then go into your property, go all the way down to custom definitions, and then hit custom dimensions. So I added 4 custom dimensions to our analytics property. One of them is the user email, the other one is the user first name. With those two I often would use to create email lists for a particular segment of our users. So if we go into user email, what you'll see is that there is a particular scope. Set this to user. The other variants are hit. So hit are usually like particular clicks or behaviors on the website. Session would really be the same dimension throughout the whole web session, whereas product would be very specific to the product. So for instance, the value of a particular price or the name of a particular item that you're selling, that's a particular part of the product. In this case, it's the user email, so it's part of the user, so I went for the user scope and I made it active. So that's all you have to do to make this then work. So Google Analytics then provides this part of the string of code, how to add that dimension to your actual code base. So by adding this custom dimension, there's no magic in the background that all of a sudden you're tracking user emails. You'll actually have to do that yourself. And this is done by something that's called the data layer. And I can create a separate video into the data layer if you want that. So just leave a comment below if that's the case. If not, have a look through this article. Most important part is that you need to add this particular piece of code to your website. So this JavaScript snippet, you'll add that to your website, and then you'll insert data layer values based on certain behavior. So in this example, somebody clicks a particular link, and from that moment on, we're pushing the below dimension of book category and value of fiction into the data layer. So if we would have set up a custom dimension for book category, we would be able to read the value of fiction from there. So the way this works can be done via Google Tag Manager then. So let me show you how to link this data layer via Google Tag Manager to Google Analytics. So inside Google Tag Manager, you can go into your account, and then you will have into your variables called tab, you'll have a Google Analytics settings variable. And in the settings variable, you'll have custom dimensions as well as custom metrics. So here you can see your custom metrics and the dimensions. And the index that you see here, so index 1, that has to be the same index as I've set it up in Google Analytics. So if we go back, we'll see here, index 1. So index 1 is the same for user email, and index 2 is user first name. So I want to have the same in here. So the dimension value for user email should be linked to index 1. So as you might see, this looks a bit weird. So what this is actually represents is a variable inside of Google Tag Manager. So I actually named this data layer variable dash user email. And this is set up in the variable step as well. Just above it, I've created a variable name with the same name that's actually user email. And this is the value that is being read from the data layer. So if I go back to this tab, here we saw book category. So if I would have added book category to the data layer, I should have filled in book category in here. So in my case, it's called user email. So on certain actions, when somebody, for instance, logged in, I'm adding user email to the data layer and actually filling in what email address that is. So if you add this variable and then link it to the Google Analytics settings variable, and it's important to add it to the Analytics settings variable so that it automatically gets added to all the tags. So if you do that and then publish those changes, you will start seeing those user emails appear. So if I go back to my acquisition data, sourceless medium, then I have these custom dimensions in here that you will see. So that's how you add those custom dimensions. It works exactly the same for custom metrics. If you're running into any complexities here, because this is getting a bit more technical, then just let me know and I can help you out more step by step or guide you to particular documentation. But if this is self-sufficient for you, then let me know if you managed to work it out. Happy to see what kind of dimensions you're adding. That would be quite cool to know. And similarly for metrics, what kind of metrics are you tracking that Google doesn't provide you right away? That's quite interesting to share with each other. So good luck and let me know if you run into anything.